everybody, to VCT Game Changers APAC Open 2, and we are down to our second series, our second to the last series as well for this Open, because we have Full Send Sapphire versus Orangutan X. Now, Dax, just to refresh everybody's memory, of course, we did see Orangutan X fight their way through Global Esports Phoenix on Bind and on Haven earlier, and we did see that they had quite an overwhelming lead, except that Global Esports Phoenix, they were able to bring it back a little bit the last few rounds, but the dominance of the apes, of the planet of the apes, was still very evident.
Yeah, Heil Caesar and everything. You're so generous, Mika. You're so considerate. I'm glad you recapped what happened a while ago. But truth be told, it's such a tough day at the office for Orangutan X, right? They got out of the gates really strong against Global Esports. It gave them such a big buffer when GE was finding their form to fight on back. Big props to GE making it to that top 4 and giving the fight to Orangutan. But now, we're gonna see Orangutan yet again go for the revenge match against Full Send Sapphire. This is a big one, Mika, because really, contenders we've seen all throughout this Open, these two teams can be neck and neck.
Oh yes, definitely. Especially since Full Send Sapphire, again, this is a roster that has made it onto the international stage, and they are looking to get back on there. And two teams stand in their way. One of them is Orangutan X, the other team is Team SMG. Muffin, Polly, Baby TZ, Margot, and Ginny are ready to represent APAC once again, except that first, they have to make their way through this series. And Dax, I feel like them coming into this very, very fresh, and Orangutan X, you know, they're coming into it quite warm, right? Especially from what we saw against Global Esports. I'm not sure who has the advantage really here, especially since we saw Orangutan X. They were in such high spirits after their match.
Yeah, Orangutan X is heated up, and you got Caster Japips, Aruma, Twirly, and we've seen Emmy actually play today, so we go back to their original rotation when they started on the playoffs. But Mika, I think the consideration right now between these two teams, for Full Send Sapphire, it's the toughest road to make it this far. They beat RQ Kakia, they beat Orangutan X, and took a map away from Team SMG. On the other hand, Orangutan X, one of the longest roads to get here, and the only team to have to play 2 series on a single day. But we mentioned it, with both Emmy and Twirly looking ready to go. They're heated on up. I think they're going to be able to bring that 1-2 punch here versus Full Send Sapphire. And having those options for Orangutan X, that's going to be essential moving forward, because we've seen from Full Send Sapphire, they do such a good job of shutting down a single duelist on the other side, whether it be Ineri from Team SMG or whether you look back at their previous matchup between Orangutan X. Twirly also struggled.
Yes, this is a rematch, right? This is a grudge match a bit, because just a few days ago, we did see this matchup happen again. Happened rather for the first time. Now we're seeing it again. You're gonna see if Orangutan X can exact that revenge, right? I do think that, of course, Orangutan X is coming into the series with full knowledge on how Full Send Sapphire is going to attack this. So we are seeing split. We are seeing Haven rather split and then Fracture. We did see Fracture again in their previous face-off against each other, and Haven as well. So I'm wondering what's different this time. What have they learned from that face-off that they're gonna take into and put into learnings into this mid-series?
Well, Orangutan learned to ban Lotus. That's the thing. So both Orangutan and Full Sense effectively have permabans. Pearl is something Orangutan doesn't want to play. Full Sense just does not play a set at all. And since we're going to Haven first and foremost, Mika, I think that's really the most interesting map, because we were talking about the transitive property a while ago. We know both of these teams are absolutely stellar at this map. But Full Sense suffered, I believe, their first loss on Haven this year because of Orangutan X. We move over to Split this time around, though, rather than Lotus Right that we got in that previous outing. And this is a big consideration for Full Sense, because they feel confident after that win versus RQ Kaguya. They bring it out now versus Orangutan, who's only played Split once against Hero KDA. And remember how that went. It looked to be Orangutan's game, but Hero KDA, they pulled back the comeback.
Yeah, I'm wondering what we're going to be seeing here on Haven, especially since this is a little bit of a kind of like a statement map, I guess, for Orangutan X, right? Especially against Full Sense. As you mentioned, they did take this map from them just a few days ago, right? But like, as we were talking about the transitive property, if they can beat them here, do they then claim the title of, the Queens of Haven here in APAC, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see what else they can bring into Haven, especially since there's a lot of information there already, right? And Full Send Sapphire, they already know how Orangutan X is gonna execute and is gonna play. So what is different? What can they change and what can they adapt?
I don't think we're gonna be seeing much of an adjustment on the compositions. The only consideration I'm thinking for Orangutan X right now is if Full Sense Sapphire is so good at shutting down a single duelist on the other side, why not bring two? And I wonder if they're gonna think about that with Emmy. Will she play the breach? Will she go on the jet instead? No, the answer is stick around to what they're accustomed to. Twirly's gonna be on that jet. Aruma gonna be playing that Killjoy here. And from what we've seen so far from Orangutan, we know how potent they can be just because of their previous matchup against GE. But Full Sense, the scariest part of this roster right now, Full Sense Sapphire, is Ginny, Margot, and Polly are just so reliable at disruption. And Baby TZ, back to her old name and back to her old form as well, really bringing up the rear. Just a force to be reckoned with from front to back here for Full Sense.
Yeah, now we're seeing what appears to be almost a mirror matchup, right? Except we have the Sova on the side of Orangutan X, and we have the Fade coming in for the side of Full Sense. Now, looking at that, the Rolling Thunder plus the Nightmare, so it's like there's a lot of utility that can push Orangutan X here. If they know how to use it properly, then possibly they can keep the Apes at bay here on Haven. But we're gonna see, because again, as we mentioned, the Apes are strong, and they did take this from them previously. So now we're gonna find out if history does repeat itself. Over to our casters for Haven.
Thank you very much, Mika and Dax. Yeah, I mean, is history going to repeat itself? The last time they played, yes, Orangutan won. Are they really the queens of Haven? I guess we'll find out. But also, like, if they win today and then they play against SMG tomorrow, will they be the queens of Haven? I don't know, this could go on for a really long time. I mean, I'm quite this donut.
Yeah, I mean, being the Queens of Haven right now means that they have to be undefeated in this specific map. And truth be told, yes, it's actually true, because Orangutan X, 100% win rate, at least for Open 2. But Full Sense Sapphire, they have something to give now, because they didn't really change anything. You would expect that if they already lost to OGX, to the same composition, right, you would have a bit of adjustments when it comes to the agents. But no, they're going to stick to what they have right now. The combination between Margot's Fade and as well as the Breach for Ginny, I think that's something special to really behold. It's just about their strategies and how they are able to at least do the reviews for the VODs and try and find weaknesses here for OGX.
Definitely gonna try to switch things up, to say the least. But yeah, I mean, that's why you have to think about it. Last time they played, it was OG's win. And they're sticking with the same composition. Now, Dax was talking about how, this core from Full Sense Sapphire can really shut down a lot of strong duelists. But the last time that they played, Casper and Aruma were actually the ones to pop off. Meanwhile, Twirly, a little bit of a more middling result. At the same time, they are starting on the defense, Full Sense Sapphire, and they are already going to town. Polly, all the way from the top of back plat, she's able to find two. Chapips and Amy will be able to pick up the pieces, but at what cost, Donut?
Yeah, a lot of damage has been done here for OGX. Aruma is down to 21 HP and half for Japeeps and Emmy. And the rest of Full Sense Sapphire, they are unscathed, not scratched at all. So they have what it takes. It's all now down to OGX and what site they're gonna go through. Because if they go through Garage, but I think they bought... They bought that rotate, but they're not actually going to a site. Now they have the timing, and they have all of the space that they need to get that plant down.
Revealing area.
Surely they do, but look at how Ginny's positioned. She's just keeping herself on the B side because she's so aware of that possibility. So they'll be able to make their way a little bit closer. At the very least, they're already up by C-Link. The thing is now, they have to creep in a bit closer. And Aruma outside of garage window is a very pesky little position. Yes. Muffin just dashes straight in through her Cloudburst though, and already onto her sight. She wraps back around. Emmy was distracted. Aruma wraps back around, able to pick up the first, but she is so low. The spike gets held down, and Muffin will be able to find that last frag. Full Sense Sapphire just getting the first pistol win.
Yeah, I think it all was about the first two kills that Full Sense Sapphire was able to do it. It was all Polly during that round. The stuns came in, and she just had a very, very clear shot. She gazed through, of course, the sight, but I'm not too sure who fell down first, but OGX, they didn't really have that. that clear with a recon ball to identify where Full Send Sapphire was. But after that, right, a lot of damage done for OGX. They have to be careful about Full Send Sapphire and how they play this defense, because Polly is looking very, very dangerous, as always.
Definitely a force to be reckoned with. And just effective, having that global presence as well. You can see her stars kind of placed across the map, especially this one up by A lobby. Anyone dare step into it and she's gonna kind of stun them up, if you will. Muffin just trying to pick up that contact. And Orangutan X are playing around this. The gravity wall, I think, yeah, it was used, but that's really what Orangutan's game plan was. Twirly might be down to 10 HP, but they baited out a bit of utility, and I think they want to just get a quick plant on B. Baby TZ lets them in.
Yeah, Casper has a good position though, but Baby TZ is just gonna bring down Twirly. It was actually very low, but if Casper can find the timing to get the kill, Beruma does. And at this point, those were a lot of dinks, a lot of damage here by Casper, but she has 3 more to go. 13 HP for her. She moves forward, but Finn, there's nothing else she can do. The defuse is there.
Yeah, toss with Bulldog. We want that round loss bonus so I can buy up a full rifle on the next round. But it was almost close, and I gotta say, it's such a smart decision for Baby TZ to actually let some of these players slip so that she gets that pick on towards Twirly as she tries to plant the spike.
It was good, a good 2-kill there for Baby TZ, and Casper. She wasn't really noticed at all by Baby TZ. She managed to really sneak up her way back to the side. That's why they had a sense of comfort there as they were gonna retake. So here again, the fight for A main control is always going to be Twirly's main objective, and that's the reason why Muffin is down, outdueled and outplayed. But Ginny's still here within the site. It's going to be scary. She does have 2 flashes remaining and a stun, and that's going to be all invested for sure if OGX pushes.
Definitely want those utilities at the ready. Muffin gone means her duelist is down, and 1 Bulldog short for Full Sense Sapphire. There's the flash we were talking about. Twirly makes her way in, but instantly replied. Holy holds the off angle. A bit of utility coming out from her team, and they were prepared. Just like you said, Donut, they were reading this situation entirely, and now, hearing the sounds or just sensing that there isn't a further push, Ginny calls the rotation over to C.
That was the C's and as well as the flash of the breach.
30 seconds left.
Bringing down Twirly to very low HP, and maybe TZ just tucked in this corner. It's gonna be scary, but Polly takes care of everybody else. It's Emmy down, and it's another thrifty for today. FSS looking so strong, even without the weapons, right? It was all about the utility and what they used in that round. And Baby TZ just really hugging that box, making sure that she gives the call to Polly, and Polly takes care of everything.
It's like, hi, footsteps here, Polly.
There's a lot of people here, Polly.
I'm wondering if we can get our POV as well. Like, look how she just geeks out of the boxes, spraying down, well, not even spraying, just bursting down a couple of people. It wasn't just a thrifty win, it was also the bonus win for Full Sense Sapphire. Completely different start as compared to how they played last open. Orangutan playing against the back foot now. Emmy, yeah, she might have Rolling Thunder and a Frenzy, but are you really going to use it in this round? They really want an open pick. And you're talking about how Twirly keeps going to weird stage short. She does the same thing again. Emmy's got her back. Twirly picking up the Spectre, now managing to find a second frag. Weapons are upgraded. All of a sudden, this round is a whole lot more doable. And look at the mini-map at the same time. What's happening towards mid?
There's Chase and Sheriff kill there for Aruma. I think they'll also get thrifty. The thriftiers get 32, possibly. If Ginny does clutch this out, then there's a potential halt to this score of OGX. But Casper is just jiggling away, and Aruma's out for the hunt. She's low anyway, but still, Ginny there gets a headshot, but they immediately back away. She is a threat for sure.
You'd never want to count her out. She could always pop up at the last second, and considering the fact that Emmy is down to 5 HP, this could go sideways really fast. Well, Hips again with one of those sideways peaks. She does it so well. It's a good thrifty win for Orangutan X.
Yeah, I think when you mentioned sideways, immediately Japeeps heard it. Okay, should I go sideways? Yep. And another fling and swing there for Japeeps. And when she does that, she's always so accurate, and you wouldn't really, anticipate that she would be peeking like that with that crouch peek, and so quick and so swift too.
It's so quack.
It's so quack, yeah.
It's quack. She's quacked. I mean, yeah. She even does that little crouch at the end. It's so good. But now, firing back against them, full sense Sapphire buys up big. It's gonna be the operator and Muffin. I think they're trying to counter against that play from Twirly, but this time recognizing the fact that there are players who will often hold outside of A lobby just to support Twirly. So shot fired. Now they rotate back. Orangutan X, on the other hand, though, just trying to find a bit of space.
And they still keep aiming control here because they don't want to have Muffin, take over that space, because we've seen Muffin play in that corner. Even with an operator, she can just be a demon with that weapon. But they already go back. I love what they're doing here now, because Aruma has a bit of limitation with her utility. That's why Casper is the one really moving forward, inching towards C. And as Casper just gives the call right, I hear a little bit of silence here, but this was read perfectly by FSS. Look at where are they now.
Again, Ginny's calls, just ever so aware of everything. Emmy does spend the Rolling Thunder to claim the site, though. And that's going to be Baby TZ gone. The Gravity Well towards the back, and just a bit more damage, but Polly does her own damage as well. 10 seconds remaining. Polly holds the off angle from Garage. They need to get the spike planted, but can they make it happen? It comes down to Aruba, but she can't quite do it against Ginny, as well as the, I think, Muffin updrafting into the air. Of course, it's going to be Polly who gets the final frag, so full sense Sapphire, full steam ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Polly just really stands for Polly kills. A number of kills there for that round. She just swings in from Garage, gets, what, 2 kills, and then the round was over. Even if Twirly was able to get the 2, they were able to catch him off guard. While Twirly was blinded because of that Prowler, nothing else that they could do. And Polly just really stands so strong here as the Astra. I think in the panel they mentioned a bit of a head-to-head between Polly, who was such an amazing player from last year, right? She was one of the ones who delivered clutches. She had one of the highest ACSs across the whole Game Changers Elite tournament last year.
Yeah.
And against Casper, it just all is. I mean, sometimes Polly does shine when she's alone, but I could see that Casper usually needs the assistance of her team members, her smokes for herself, and I guess that's the biggest difference now. Although this is going to be a team game, right? Polly just always rises to the occasion, even if she's alone on the site.
It definitely is one of those factors. I mean, just looking through the statistics right now, yeah, Polly was top 5 in terms of ACS from Game Changers APAC Elite last year. And you can still feel that impact. I mean, I think the players from Orangutan X really need to find ways around this, because although they might be able to get some entries sometimes, it gets really hectic and messy, just given how fast Ginny reads the situation. And right now, again, trying to counter this A lobby hold, she positions herself along with 2 other teammates around this one area with such a deep smoke from Polly.
And that deep smoke is going to be a threat here. So Emmy, she's the one holding the spike. If she's the last one to rotate with 3 there, the spike might be exposed, but at least... Oh, she's down, and the spike is there. Now 3 people gazing at the spike. Polly He's the first one to be there, but of course Casper's gonna be there to shut her down.
Alright, better gunplay from Casper in this round.
Here.
And with that, a little bit more space. They have managed to retrieve the
30 seconds
spike.
left.
But Orangutan X has 30 seconds remaining, so it has to be a full commit into the A site by this point. They are blocked off by a well-timed Nanostorm from Baby TZ, but Iruma gets the double spray up by Short. Baby TZ with the Nanostorms again.
One
It's
enemy
10
remaining.
seconds now, and Iruma does
10
not have the
seconds left.
spike. Her only option is to shoot her way out of this one, and she peeks straight into Muffin's scope. 5-1, and Full Set Sapphire does not stop.
Yeah, it all now boils down to what they did there in A main. They knew that Twirly would always be there to take the space away from them with just one smoke. What they did was they slowly kept up. They took that space. 3 of them brought down that spike, and from there it was retrieved. But then easily they back away and then just wait on the A side. You have nowhere else to run. It's gonna be A, so we're just gonna wait here. And eventually, of course, they just run through the crosshairs of Muffin and as well as Ginny. So that's
Oh
that.
no! Well, they did the same thing again, Donut. Oh, no.
That's that.
That is that. The Blade Storm's gone, essentially. You got 3 other ultimates, but it's all pistols. Emmy's the only one with a Vandal that she bought up. With light shields and... Alright, this is not impossible. First we just gotta sneak our way onto the A site. Maybe if we take down Baby TZ, but she's still hiding inside A sharp. Look at where she's going. Wrapping back around the corner. She still has control of this spot, so she can place her lockdown for the retake if she needs. Spike hasn't gone down yet. Aftershock into hell, and it's gonna be Muffin rushing down in with a shorty. Baby TZ with a couple more frags coming out of nowhere. Iruma, the last one left. Nanostorm just lock her in, and Baby TC already has the reads and Full Send Sapphire again, 6-1. They're just so aware of everything.
Yeah, I mean, Baby TZ just, you know, taking up that space, not letting go of it at all. She found the timing, and she got 2 kills because of it. And even the third one there, the final blow against Iruma, it was just all about her providing that information to the team, and that retake, though. Not much casualty for Full Send Sapphire for that round, but they are at least outsmarting them when it comes to the defense. Each and every time Orangutan X would push forward, it's just like they move like queens, diagonally forward everywhere in that chessboard.
They're doing the same thing again. You talk about diagonally, they're going up Diagon Alley through A long. And all of a sudden it's blocked off. We've cordoned off the spot, and Orangutan X cannot retake control over this area. They've tried for the past several rounds, but it just does not work, given how Full Sense Sapphire already has a read on this. Again, though, we have a lot of ultimates in this round. It's not impossible to turn things around.
Yeah, they have 3 online, a Cosmic Divide, and a room is lockdown may make all the difference for this round, but they don't use it, they just use the smokes with the stun, slow them down.
Oh. Just buy a bit of time. Ginny tried to spam it. Defender lockdown coming in. Pips has a Hunter's Fury, but instead she's holding all the way from mid. She's got it, and she wants to save it for the post plant. Marco tries to do a little bit of damage on her own, and as well as Baby TC outside of garage. Gets blinded by Emmy though. Such a good play, and then the lockdown, a combination of utilities all dumped, and ultimates all towards Full Sense just to keep them at bay. Muffin tries to go for a Hail Mary defuse, and it does not work with the shock bolt coming out of nowhere. 6-2, Orangutan X comes back.
This is the same strategy that we saw earlier against GE Phoenix. They would slowly creep in towards B, and then they would hold from far. And the Bruma's lockdown, it feels like it was forever before it got, it hit the site, because it was 10 seconds, but the members of Full Send Sapphire, when they would come in, they didn't really realize it was already about to blow, and they were just caught in the middle of things.
Yeah, it's a good strat and 4v5 to round win conversion from OGX, but interesting from Full Sense Sapphire. They've purchased up on light armor just so that they can possibly buy up the next round. And Muffin on an operator as well. She's got A under lockdown. Orangutan X, unless they're able to take her out somehow, it's gonna be tough for them to
And there goes the drone
find
too
that entry.
from Jabeeps. It's there. It's
Okay.
gonna flush her out. Oh, she's just gonna
She
hide
calls
from
it?
it.
Gets pinged. Oh! Alright, fires the shot just as she gets stunned. And this does give OGX a bit more space around the site. They managed to sneak their way in. Twirly leading the charge again. This time, not quite able to land the strafe shot. He peeks out, but still, it's so oppressing. Look at how they're positioned. The firing squad from
30
Full
seconds
Set
left.
Sapphire on the site. Spike down, and they're just making sure that nobody gets on it. Baby TZ still the off
Can't use
angle.
that yet.
Ginny
Concealment.
right around the side of the boxes. Casper trying to use her smokes just to inch forward. And all of a sudden, spray from
One
Japips.
enemy
Still low
remaining.
HP though, and she manages to get the shot into a
10
Tevin.
seconds left.
1-on-1, 9 seconds remaining. All she needs is one sweet tap, but Baby TZ jiggle peeks around the corner and finds the tap instead.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. That was Casper's smoke, but it was actually taken advantage of by Baby TZ. During that push, right, they just really wanted a bit of coverage on towards the side so that they can isolate all of those kills. And Peeps did wonderfully. She got the kills one by one until it was the last, down to the last player, which was Baby TZ. But with how she's playing this Killjoy now, with this KDA 12 and 4, she's really doing amazing, just holding these angles. I'm actually not used to her playing this way because she's also very aggressive, but I like that she's been tempered down.
Definitely just trying to be a little bit different because you have to do that against Full Set Sapphire. Just Twirly doing the same things though, straight into garage. Then the trades come in. Full Set Sapphire just trying to react to it in kind. The stingers are still good though, but if only for a second. The penetration from Margot's Vandals even better. Aruma goes in and strikes from behind just to pick it up. Needs to go for a reload. And then the spike plant. Down to the one-on-one, and Muffin just tries to hold the angle instead. Aruma realizes that she's got a lot of time to play with. Given how fast Full Sense rotates, she has to kind of play around the site instead. Muffin swaps to the shorty, tries to swing, but Aruma catches the drop onto her instead. Hands off the keyboard as a way of celebration, and 7-3 OGX. It's not over yet.
When she pulled out the shorty, I thought it was kind of looking kind of grim there for Aruma, but her wide swing just really saved her for that round. She had to, she really had to swing that wide because Muffin was holding an operator. Either way, I think Full Sense Sapphire, they have a good, they had a good type of momentum, and OGX, when it comes to how they would push on towards the site, it's always going to be A that they would go to. And then if it doesn't work, right, because of Margot's
Then we go C.
seizes, because of Ginny's flashes, then they go back, they double back, and they get to plant the spike. But the retakes in C and B doesn't always work for them. But it's down to these close fights that OGX actually wins.
It's really tight, and especially when it's near range. And you consider the fact that Full Sense buys up light shields, 25 hit points, and that's going to allow for the stingers from Orangutan X to just shred and chip away at them a little bit better, especially if they're close range. The headshots will be able to do so much more. So you have to think for Full Sense, this might be a half-buy round for them, but they really need to start buying up full armors, because if OGX comes in with, half buys again, and the half shield just doesn't really work out that way. This time around, though, still, it's the second last round before the swap. And OGX just pressed the issue. They know it's a half buy, so they want these duels. They want to break open the side donut. Rolling Thunder in, and well, it's gonna be a Ginny that can't do anything against this.
Yeah, she was dazed, and Twirly was out for the chase too. Plant is down, and what we're left is going to be Muffin with the Bulldog,
One
so this
enemy
might
remaining.
make a bit of difference. But she is being pinned down now
Oh
by
my God.
the Pips. Baby TZ is left all alone with 3 people peeking at her, dancing around. Who does she catch? Nobody. It's going to be Twirly with that beautiful 3K.
Last round in the half.
Knowing even that they are on a low buy, at least. Twirly there, always just taking control, getting the first kills against Muffin. Really makes OGX win these rounds. But this time, again, you mentioned they're buying up again half armor because of that full buy that they
I
did
think
last
they
time.
can't afford. Yeah, it's the last round before the swap too, so this is the best that they've got. And if it doesn't go well, it's gonna be a 7-5, and that puts OGX in a pretty good position for the second half. Poorly again, you can never quite expect how fast OGX will go, and despite the fault lines, she peeks out and takes down Baby TZ. Garage is open, and C very well possibly mixed as well. Oh! Blaze-storm upwards, a bit of a transfer from Holy, and Casper makes it a trade. Ginny comes back in from the back of the site, and Marco is here as well. The cavalry has arrived. Aruma, come out of your hiding. There's not much that you can do, I say that, but she finds a quick double headshot. Pops back around, puts down the lockdown, and forces Muffin into a stressful situation. Jumps with the shorty, brings it down to 1 HP, doesn't bring out a rifle in time. Muffin! What a clutch with the shorty, 8-4.
What was that round? Both of them exchanged the weapons. I mean, a Vandal now, a Shorty then, and then a Vandal again later. But I think that crazy round has to be unpacked and uncovered by our panelists, Mika and Dax. What do you think about that?
I'm not sure. I feel like I don't want to be given the burden of breaking down that last round. What on earth? But that's we're seeing here Orangutan X slowly catching on to the rhythm that Full Send Sapphire is setting for them, right? They're saying, okay, this is how you want to play. We have to do it a step further. And you can see that, especially with the way Twirly entries. She just goes in, make sure that they can't set up.
I was thinking about the shorty showdown, man. They brought out the shorties, and then they were like, "Oh, I'm out of bullets. I'm gonna bring out the other one." The reload. It felt like everything stopped, but you make a good point there, Mika. Let's talk about how that game really unfolded for now. Seems like for Full Send Sapphire, it's just wave upon wave of contact towards the side. If it's usually you always watch out for Polly and Baby TZ who are on side because they're that first contact to shut down players like the duelist here from the side of Orangutan. Whenever we see Twirly go in, she's already being oppressed. Not just by those two players, but then you still have Margot, you still have Ginny, and they're not just that initial utility to help on out, but they also swing on by as well. And that's how suddenly Full Send Sapphire has the numbers in their favor. You'd think that initial contact can work for Orangutan, whether or not they get that first kill, but once Full Send Sapphire converge accordingly, they're just so quick on the retake. The only answer we've seen so far from Orangutan, especially in the last 2 rounds that they got on the scoreboard, they went even quicker, they went even faster, and if they can actually just outpace Full Send Sapphire and the pace-making tools as well as just the general flow of the game itself, then maybe that's where they can stand a chance now moving forward.
Maybe indeed, but it is time to switch sides, and this time Full Send Sapphire is gonna be on attack. So if they like to go fast on defense, I hope Orangutan X is prepared for what Full Send Sapphire has to offer as we go back into our map over to our casters.
Thank you very much, Mika and Dax. Gotta go fast or gotta go slow? That is the question, and Full Send Sapphire on the attack will tell us everything.
Yeah, but sometimes they do play so fast that you couldn't really keep track of Muffin anymore, where she is on that A site. And once she dashes, it's as if she has another dash equipped, which is kind of unfair with how she moves within the map. And that's really something that OGX should be able to control. And Muffin here... Yep. she's doing everything so fast.
Well, Muffin is in A-Long, but also look at mid. Oh, both Jet duelists are so fast. It's kind of crazy, but at the same time, Torley's position has been made known, and she's down to 70 HP. Given the rotations now, Muffin could somewhat lurk around mid, while the rest of the team sets up for a hit towards C.
Yeah, that was quick for her, but, you know,
Ooh.
not much to do there because she didn't really have a teammate to back her up. But things come in their way, and another dash here for Muffin. Casper's just waiting here for this box, waiting for the perfect moment to peek out. Just one, though!
Oh
that was a clean shot.
And then the trades still come in. OGX continue to push up front, and they will be able to swarm the site. Baby TZ not quite able to flake back and forth. It was low HP for OGX, but they managed to recover 5 to 8 now. And this is not too bad. They might be able to come back.
Yeah, definitely. This is a pistol round that they need to try and narrow in that gap, right? For Full Send Sapphire with how quick they are. Probably, they were also quick in their rotations. It's good that they didn't really move away from the sites that they covered. So Casper and as well as Japeeps had a beautiful crossfire going on there. And with that utility, it slowed Full Send Sapphire as to what they had planned during that push. This time, though, OGX, they have something planned too, because 3 members of theirs, the Sova, the Breach, and the Jet, are all here in A waiting for them.
With guns, too. Oh my god, don't it? Oh, Full Sense Sapphire just... They know they're there. I think they're trying to get a pick of sorts. I'm just setting up right now. The fault line comes in. Japips and Torley able to answer back. That's the first 2 players gone. Polly managed to sneak up into B amidst all of this. Good play and good plan all of a sudden. OGX not quite sure where they are. Managed to find it out though. Japips on the site. Swings out again and trying to play that sideways peek. The Spectre run and gun spray and pray. OGX. They bring us to an 8 to 6.
I don't know if there was a bit of miscomm there, because Polly and Baby TZ seemed as if they were running towards C, or were they just, you know, looking for members of OGX in rotation, but Ginny there just really wanted to plant down the spike, probably because she had only a classic in hand, and she wanted to, you know, use that to her advantage and just, you know, peek out in close corners instead. But that didn't really go their way, but good kills for Full Send Sapphire. An almost win there for that forced buy of OGX, which leaves them now with just, you know, pistols yet again because of that punish of Sapphire.
It's a good eco round, but they're buying up the Vandals. They've got the light shields, and oh, this position from Twirly could be very, very fatal given the right timing at the right peaks. Hunter's Fury out from Japips, and it does flush some of them out of position, but Baby TZ hopping back, spots Twirly in time, takes her out. It's gonna be a 3-player retake. Emmy with the aftershock just to even out the odds. 3 players from Full Sense still holding on the site. If OGX takes this round, that will be huge for their momentum, but it's not gonna be easy. Marco holding the angles. Muffin from the side. Everything watching down C-Link. And that's going to be Full Sense Sapphire securing their lead again.
Yeah, with the weapons that OGX had, it wasn't really a surprise that Full Sense Sapphire will, you know, take that win against them. But I love the utility of Emmy here. She's been really very crucial when it comes to Twirly's skills. As you saw in the first half, Twirly would be so confident dashing through because there would be a stun from her. And I love that there is at least an equal use of that with Ginny as the breach and her, I mean Emmy as the breach for OGX. That just, you know, levels out the playing field with how to do it utility. But, you know, when it comes to the first kills, it's Twirly for this round.
Sometimes utility Might displace certain positions, but at the same time, when it comes to Twirly and her peaks, she's almost always able to get a couple, given how fast she plays, given how she knows the ace sight at the back of her hand. Picks off yet another, down to 30 HP. Baby TZ sneaked in through B though, and now managing to sneak herself up towards heaven. They've got a full min to play with, so Full Sense could rotate if they wanted, but instead they're just going to flash aside, allow for Baby TZ to strike from heaven. Polly up front will be able to get the third. And that leaves us with the last two, Casper, Aruma. One from the front, one from the back. Casper made a bit of noise, and Polly hears it. Manages to put her out of her misery. Aruma now, last one left, waits for the lockdown, but she's got a tall task ahead of her. Tries to sneak up the back, and well, Baby TZ doesn't have to watch it because of that alarm bot. Speaking of utility, let's just gave her position away. Has to flick back around given the sudden peak, but Baby TZ lands it anyway. Banged up to 5 HP, but still survive. 10-6 for Full Sense Sapphire.
Now, when it comes to that push there, they had a good idea, and it was all about Baby TZ's flank. Nobody caught her as she was crossing through B. I mean, the first one who spotted her was Twirly, but she couldn't really do anything about it. And that was really what was essential for Full Sense Sapphire's push. Because if you already know that there are people behind the box, just one blind will just displace them, and then Baby TZ just took care of every single thing.
I guess that's the thing about playing around the boxes, huh? and hence, perhaps Orangutan X has to start trying to play anti-flash positions at times. I mean, look at the scoreboard right now. Ginny, despite being at the bottom, she's got 17 assists, Donut, and that's how good she is with her reads and her utility. Meanwhile, the rest of her team just popping off with frags. Orangutan might call the timeout in this round, and hopefully Coach Gunner might be able to course correct them, because if they can't win this, first of all, they're out of the tournament, but secondly, sorry Mika, but we might have to reconsider that title of Queens of Haven.
Oh, that is true. At least in Haven here, we all know that Sapphire used to pick this a lot. So now they're just, readjusting that composition with Margot, but it's gonna be a bloodbath here in C. 3 people just cleaned up through that whole carpet. Now they walk through it. Stars, but it doesn't align for Emmy.
Yeah, we're gonna see stars instead, Donut. Oh no, that definitely knocks you out, and yeah, you're blinded by the brilliance of just a full head-on collision. Japip's trying to do her peek again, but this time with the Marshall, not quite able to connect the shot. Full Sense Sapphire, 11-6.
It was kind of like a landslide there. There wasn't anything that Orangutan can do about that. 3 people peeking at you, and Margot just really knew where to pre-fire. Initially, I think one was expecting somebody behind the box, but they were too close, and because of that, right, the cavalry was there waiting for them to push out. And OGX, though, I have to say that Twirly's Blade Storm might make all the difference here, but Ginny here, she might get more assists because she does have the Rolling Thunder online again.
Face your fear!
Oh boy. Well, no need to worry about any of those ultimates if the site's completely clear. And that could just be a very intentional play from OGX. They want to go in for the retake and come in with a big flank as well. 2 players headed towards C long, and Baby TZ's aware of this. Positions herself along her turret, tries to play off of its contact, but instead she gets surprised by Twirly. Now the rest of the team trying to make their way through the link as well. Twirly able to make it a trade. Full Sense Sapphire still trying to hold from the site. Got muffin up by Logs, but she doesn't quite survive. It's up to Margot, and she's gotten a quick triple now. 1-on-1. Twirly peeks out, and Margot! A quadra to bring Full Sense Sapphire to match point.
Margot has been so good when it comes to these pressure situations and always getting that
Player
4K.
standing.
She
One
did,
enemy
I think I recall a round from yesterday when she was dancing around some boxes, and each and every time she peeked out, a headshot comes in. And I think this was also another example of her and her impact for the team of FSS. And even as a Fade, right, we would usually see her play a controller role, but she has been, I mean, at least performing better as the Fade for this specific map.
Yeah, for this team, learning a different role, and she's still adapted to it so well. This time, Rolling Thunder in towards A, and they've managed to clear it completely. The site is theirs. And, well, Orangutan X are trying to set up for the retake, but there's so much noise. Guess what? The spike headed towards C. Oh, gosh. Oh, there are players around this spot. You have to consider how Muffin is coming up with a big flank.
She's taking her time because she thinks the possible divide will buy her some time, but she has to rush in, rush through that wall.
Ooh.
But Emmy has the Rolling Thunder, and she's doing so well. She gets the first kill. Another flash though. It's probably gonna go down to her. No, she takes the three. Muffin left all alone. She finishes it, and they're now match point.
Still, I mean, Japip's just sticking onto the spike, manages to get the defuse at the last second. One of those things with the flanks taking a little bit long. I mean, despite the tailwind and the right click, round still going towards Full Send Sapphire's way. I mean, a smart strat, sure, but one thing that they did not anticipate was how fast Orangutan would respond, and given Emmy's Rolling Thunder as well. So this time, damage still sustained. Aruma's gonna have a lockdown, but also a half buy from the rest of the team.
And with Full Send Sapphire at match point, these buys should make it work.
Oh my god.
Though, with a double quick one in main and baby TZ though, is
Close your eyes. My ult is
yes. She is gonna die, and Margot quick on that trade against Emmy. This judge though by Twirly, I don't face your fear. Depends on how they play this round with that Nightfall too, facing them on their faces, and Casper just doing the job, taking the first one down.
Yeah, and she's trying to create a bit of a distraction to allow Twirly to get on the side as well. Still though, oh my god, spotted out by the timing of that haunt. It's down to a 1-on-3, and this could be over in a second. Casper slowly trying to peek out, trying to break this crossfire. Manages to draw them away for a second, but not before Margot puts that final nail in the coffin. 13-7, and Full Send Sapphire takes away the first map.
You know, sometimes we would just want to fix our eyes on Muffin and baby TZ, but sometimes, you know, Margot just really shines all throughout, even as a Fade. And as you mentioned, right, her adjustment to her role as initiator for the team has brought a lot of wonders for them. You know, not leaving Ginny all alone, doing all of the calls, the initiations. She does so well in terms of, you know, giving that space for the rest of her team.
Yeah, well, again, this doesn't end here. Yes, Orangutan, you know, they might have lost the first map. I don't know, are they still the Queens of Haven? But at least they are still warmed up. Let's see what happens in the next map. Our panelists will talk us through it. Mika and Dex, this is yours.
Thank you very much, Quack and Donut. And yes, we do have to, you know, put that up for consideration. Queens of Haven, maybe not quite yet, especially when Full Send Sapphire has something to say about it. And Dax, I just have to say, like, the setups of Full Send Sapphire here on this map and the way that Muffin's entry is just beautifully escorted with all of the utility that Ginny has to offer, for example. It's just so great to see this level of teamwork come in, especially, you know, coming from a team that has that, you know, international experience, of course, and now participating in Open 2 yet again.
Yeah, Full Sense Sapphire, they look to be the most synchronized squad that we have here. Muffin not only has been performing exceptionally, but is really the most enabled duelist we have had here in Open 2 as from what we've seen the past few days. And you can really love Full Sense Sapphire right now. A stain for a stain, Mika. They answer back by beating Orangutan X on their own mapping, finally giving them a loss this year. And while there are big efforts there from Twirly, I love the utility usage there from Emmy, very aggressive with it. Aruma as well coming in clutch in the first half. It was just Full Sense Sapphire and every single one of these players doing their jobs. Baby TZ, the ultimate shutdown machine on the first half, as well as somehow she gets in there, Mika, on the second half. How is she in those positions? How is she lurked that way? Full Sense Sapphire, they just find opportunities everywhere provided and created by their team.
I don't know how she was able to get up there. I mean, like the casters mentioned, Julia already saw her. It's like she shouldn't have been able to get away with that, but she did and got away with so much more in that round and so many rounds, right? Baby TZ was definitely one of the anchors of this victory here on Haven for Full Sense Sapphire. And, you know, on the other side for Orangutan X, like, yes, there were some memorable plays indeed. Twirly was definitely like, you know, right up there, but I also got the sense that like there were times wherein like Twirly, for example, got, you know, horse blinders. You could kind of sense that, you know, she was just, it was a W gaming, but without the rest of the squad in sync, really. So it wasn't exactly as synchronized as what Full Sense Sapphire was prepared to offer. And we did see that fall apart in a lot of rounds. And it was just like, you know, for the side of Orangutan X, you could feel the morale shake a little when they would lose to something like, you know, that something like that rather.
Yeah, Orangutan X, it's just such a difficult state where you're trying to beat the other team at their own game, their whole synergize outlook, right? And you can see here for the MVP, Baby TZ as well, from the back line. She just brings it forward. She has no fear whatsoever to actually come in contact with what Orangutan X brings to the sites. And not only that, she has just been absolutely been impeccable at finding the multi-frags again and again. And from that point on, right, Full Sense Sapphire, they just can rely on each other to get the job done. One more for consideration, Margot in those final rounds.
Oh,
When it comes
yeah.
in clutch, it's just someone can step up for Full Sense Sapphire. And it's not just someone. Sometimes it's everyone.
Yeah, definitely. That's how it looked like for Full Sense. And like I think Quack pointed this out as well. You know, even Ginny, who had like 17 assists, I believe, as we stopped, or even more perhaps. And you could really sense that, you know, you could see the cohesion in the team. You know, it feels like you could actually hear Ginny calling out, you know, even though like you couldn't exactly hear them. But it's looking very, very well for Full Sense Sapphire, of course. On the side of Orangutan X, can they bounce back, especially since they've had a very long day? It's the real challenge. This is it, like, you know, the endurance to be able to pull through for these two series. We're gonna find out if they have just that right after this quick break. We'll be right back with the rest of the series.
Spike down. C. One enemy. My ultimate is left. Trinity, you're welcome. One enemy remaining. Spike down A. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Amateur.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Delete. Ultimate is ready. Enemy down. One enemy remaining. Did I get
Must have been a dream last night, but I can hear what you're saying. You were shot to death last night. Where's my cup of coffee? I was shot to death last night, and I thought of someone else. Didn't care about your life last night, at least less than about his. All our dreams were shot to death last night. I see the clock stand still. Nightmares at your heart sometimes, but this is unbelievable. One gunshot, and I forgot to look at you, to look at you, to look at you, to look at you. Two gunshots, and my thoughts were not with you, were not with you, were not with you, were not with you.
Welcome back, everybody, to what could potentially be our final map today. We are in for I would say, like, potentially a long map here because I can tell that Orangutan X, they really, really do want this. They want to stay alive. They want that shot at the grand finals. They're up against Full Sense Sapphire here. And Dax, it's been a long day for these apes.
How far and how long can the planet of the Eights rotate, right? As Full Sense, they took that first map pick. They took it away from Orangutan X. And now we're going to move over to Split, where for Orangutan, there's something that they need to prove after their last outing on it. But you mentioned it, Mika. It has to be exhausting here for Orangutan. They played 2 incredible maps against Global Esports. They were hard fought on that map over at Haven for first outing. But in the end, Full Sense Sapphire, it just feels like as a team itself, the unit of Full Sense Sapphire works so well together, so coordinated, so apt at what they need to do, and it just really feels like right now they're the machine that cannot be beaten unless you can just be as organized as them.
Yep, and Orangutan X, they have not won on Split just yet. Granted, it was just one time versus the Hero KDA in our lower round, but still, you know, it's still something that needs work. They have been avoiding this map as well. So you can tell that they're pushed to, you know, a level of uncomfortability here in this series, especially as we mentioned, coming from the earlier series today, and Full Sense Sapphire coming in very, very, very refreshed, right? And we can see it. We can definitely see it in their movements. Full Sense Sapphire are very much acting like a cohesive unit as we saw earlier on Haven, right? And I think that like now that was the warm up for Full Sense Sapphire. What's that going to be? What's that next level going to look like for Full Sense Sapphire? We're about to find out.
Yeah, and just some of the things you've noticed also in the previous game. We talked about how Muffin has been absolutely been enabled here by the rest of the team. And because of that, I think right now she has the third most highest ACS over in Open 2, always surviving, always there to bring in the fight. And just because they get her in position, she's so eager and so precise to get those takedowns. Another thing I noticed while I was talking to Quack in between the break, actually, while checking out on different progresses for different things, we noticed that there were many instances where Full Sense Sapphire, they picked up the light armor in cases where it would be a full buy, a time even against the Stinger, but you realize that kind of situation. They were very confident to be dealing with the Vandals from the side of Orangutan X, that they can get away with this kind of economy. And just because of them playing such an interesting macro game, there were rounds that were able to afford a few more buys, a few more rifles than they should have. So Orangutan X, it's not just really their coordination that needs to be at the level of Full Sense, but it's also that line of thinking, because Sapphire right now, they're on the next level and how they're really looking at the game here.
Yes, that full shield meta as made popular by my favorite boys over in EMEA. But now we are heading into Agent Select here on Split, and it looks like we're gonna have Baby TZ on the Cypher, very exciting, Margot on the stage as well. And on the side of Orangutan X, we're looking at Emmy and Twirly with that double duelist setup.
Yeah, and the big shift here is we're not going to be getting the Reyna anymore. The only time we saw Orangutan X play this map was with Chloe yesterday against the Hero KDA. So now that you have your standard double duelist fanfare that they've been practicing all throughout, the one they run on Bind, is it going to be enough to breach defenses on the attack? It was a decent attacking side from them, around 5 rounds anyway versus the Hero KDA. But yet again, Full Sense, so much control options here, Mika. Margot on that Sage. Slow orbs can be pesky. Ginny has been rotating between 3 different initiators so far, all of them oppressive, and with Muffin flexing over to that Raze as well, it's time for her to prove that she can pretty much play anything Full Sense Sapphire needs.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Emmy and I'm looking at Twirly, you know, against Muffin, but as we saw earlier, like sometimes Muffin is all you need, right? Especially when you do have Baby TZ and when you have players like Margot that are willing to be anchors for the site, just in case, you know, the first few seconds of the round doesn't pan out, they're your insurance policy. But we're gonna see right now who takes Split. Is it gonna be a 2-0 in favor of Full Sense Sapphire, or is this the start of the comeback of Orangutan X? We're gonna find out. Over to your casters.
Thank you very much, Mika and Dex. Yeah, this could go any way. I mean, Split, given the fact that it's Full Sense Sapphire's pick, I think they noticed that the game from yesterday against the Hero KDA maybe didn't go too well, and they might have some holes to poke at here. Hey, I'm Quack. This is Donut. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday's game in Split for Orangutan X didn't really go so well, but they had at least they managed to string in a couple of rounds. What I think they had really to improve on was how they would take mid and how they would protect mid at all costs. Because at least given the changes of this map, I think mid is still, you know, the golden ground wherein you really have to protect it at all costs. And maybe With the Sage in favor of Full Send Sapphire here, at least for Margot, when she can anchor on the sites on her own, being a pseudo controller, even as an initiator, I guess that will make all of the difference. But it's up to Emmy and as well as Twirly, as both of the duelists, to try and tear all of those barriers down, in the form of either the slow orbs and as well as the barrier orbs from the Sage.
Yeah, they really need to really crack their heads on this one. It's like a very different composition, right? And then it's something that we saw before just a couple of days ago. Full Send Sapphire picking this against RQ Kaguya, and they did pretty darn well in that map, knocking RQ Kaguya down into the lower bracket. And again, like, that's something that a lot of us didn't really anticipate. It's really strong, it's really effective, and there's so much control that they have with it because of that Sage pick like you talked about, but they also have Baby TZ and Poli on more similarly defensive agents. And Omen, which has a little bit more flexibility with the Paranoia and the Shrouded Step, but also Baby TZ, Sentinel, Cypher. It's really tough to break through, right? You really need to going really aggressive somehow. I'm not sure. It could be something similar to what we just saw in the previous series when they played, Emmy and Torley, Jet and Raze on Bind against Global Esports Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm looking at the stats right now, and Ginny yet again, they finished strong against RRQ Kaguya with about 14.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I got that right. Like 14 assists from her as the breach. And if we saw her with like 17 plus assists in the map of Haven, with more here in Split, because when you look at how the map is structured, it's very narrow. The entry points are narrow, the coverage for all of those stuns can actually provide and slow OGX down. I guess that's gonna be what's scary. And look at her, she's actually already ready with it.
Oh, well, starting off on defense, that's probably what you would do. Wall up by mid. If they break it, it's info. If not, you just control the area. But now, okay, all right, that works too. Emmy just rushes in towards Heaven and finds a pick. Actually, a second. Oh my goodness, Japips and the timing on the guiding light. Ginny has to run away. He tries to hold them back with the aftershock, but only for a second.
Yeah, looking for more though. Flash doesn't come in because she heard the dash away, but Emmy is just on top of that box waiting for anybody to peek, and that's gonna be Polly. She's down and she already has 3k. Rotations come in for OGX too.
Well, she is 6 HP, but yeah, with this aggressive pick, especially up by Heaven, 3 players down, definitely can feel the rotations being baited over. And now with all this space, Aruma even goes deeper just to cut them off on the rotations, catches them by the timing of it. And it's gonna be a flawless win for OGX.
Yeah, definitely. I think the stuns were there, initially placed in A main, but what OGX managed to do there was, quietly walk up towards the ramps and, try that element of surprise. Even there, Emmy,
30 seconds left.
silently waiting for anybody to peek out and getting that headshot angle was just something that Full Send Sapphire didn't expect at all. So if there's anything that they should take note of for the map of Split is expect the unexpected. If it's silent, doesn't mean that nobody's there. It means that probably they're already there waiting for you.
If anything, Full Sense is a team that often, led by Ginny. They should be able to read these. But Shorty versus Bucky. I guess the bigger gun wins. Sometimes the small one wins too, with Baby TZ and the classic, just a right click to the face. But the question still remains, what is OGX's game plan? And it would feel like it's that same rotation, but this time with a lurk from Aruma around the middle. Cyber Cage blocks off Margot. But here we go into Heaven, and Baby TZ can't really hold for long. Margot's the last one left, goes into a trip, tries to break it, and Aruma just
No one left to
cleans
send
it
a
up.
message.
2-0.
Oh well.
Yeah, I think their plan here is the same as Haven. I see Casper just lurking around, hanging around in the lobby, and Aruma just, waiting for anybody to push up towards mid. If there's nobody there, then she actually gives them a bit of space, and then she calls out the information so that the rotations can come in for OGX. I think that's a smart way to play this map, especially with how Full Sense likes to gain control of one area of the map, and then they just let go of another side entirely, so that there is a bit of balance, or balance can be reclaimed after that. But oh my gosh, the blinds come in and fight.
down
It's a
A.
triple trade. Casper is there to
Player
shut her
standing.
down, but an immediate trade for Margot, leaving Aruma all alone. She does have a cyber cage to try and retrieve that spike,
Here.
but I don't know what she can do with this against, the Vandals and the prowess of Full Sense Sapphire.
Yeah, you were talking about balance, and this time Full Sense Sapphire gets the read and they upset that balance. Emmy and Torley thought they could go in fast. Emmy buying up the Bucky, and just run straight into Polly's volley of bullets. Marco with the peek now gets information. Aruma still trying to regain control of her ramp. We'll be able to hop on up, but Baby TZ is watching the ankle.
No one
Easy
cleans it
spray or burst. It's going to be 1-2, a standard start here.
Yep, for that specific round, I think OGX just really wanted to gain that space and use all of the Bucky, right, in their favor. I mean, the short-range weapons in their favor. But that's not going to be the case against Polly. Again, she's a player with one of the highest ACSs for game changers. And if you're going to peek her, even as a triple, she's just going to mow you down. And that was just quick kills for her. So ramp probably is a no-go. That's why they send Aruma over there. A change of pace here as 3 people are invested towards mid instead of OGX.
Changes needed to be made. But at the same time, I mean, given the positions from Full Sense Sapphire, look at how quickly Polly rotated over towards B stairs. It's just recognizing the fact that, all right, they've adapted to how we hold ramp. I'm gonna adapt to how they're trying to adapt on the map too. That's why she's back towards screen now, sensing that they took mid. The rest of them from Full Sense pushed out of garage though, and that's Casper gone. No more smokes for them in this round. OGX continue to push, and out from B Heaven, they managed to take the site. Ginny is reading this like a book, though. Just holding these positions. Able to try to go in for a spray, but double peeked by 2 players. She's not going to be able to hold for long. Her teammates come in to aid, and that's going to be Margot cleaning up. Aruma's the last one left, coming up from garage. Baby TZ expects this and tries to go in for the spray. Even a bit of a preemptive one. Margot sticks the defuse, and we are now tied up.
Yeah, during that round, I think even with Casper down and with no smokes to play with, they had a good idea to push forward through spawn, right? But Judy had a good read, and they sent over 2 more. But Twirly just being so complacent and assuming that there is no more, there are no more members from Sapphire rotating towards spawn, was just what really lost them that round. At least they had the heads. The kills went in their favor. It was supposed to be a 2v2 if she got the kill, or she wasn't really picking up that gun. So they really have to be more aware about the positioning of Muffin. And thereby ramp, she still gets another kill. Baby TZ uses that ultimate to find out what
Enemy remaining.
Better than yours.
Yeah, we know where they are.
There they are.
Take what's
And it's that same sort of rush, don't it? It doesn't quite work out any longer, especially when FSS peek out A ramp.
Yeah, the sprays come in for Muffin, and immediately when she backs away, it's gonna be like a tap out, and it's gonna be like a tag. And okay, I'm already
You're
low.
it.
Can you take this
enemy
for me?
remaining.
And Baby TZ just gladly helps out and gets a 3K.
I thought you meant tag, like tag you're it, and then they start running around. No, tag teammate comes in, yeah, and that's precisely how Full Sense Sapphire recovers, and it's that coordination and teamwork again. Everyone is able to communicate effectively, and with Ginny's reads and the team's positioning, they're able to counter some of OGX's strats. That's it. This is only round 6 now. It's still rather early on. but 3 rounds won in a row, and Coach Gunner or maybe someone from OGX, they want to stifle this momentum. So timeout, and let's see. What are our options? How can we play around this? We've got Seekers and a Neural Theft. We know the A-Ramp rush doesn't quite work out the way that we want, but you know, a lot of these have been just sort of blind rushes. We haven't really used a lot of utility to take quick control over these areas.
Right there. Right there.
Probably the Seekers would be a solution to that if they really want to do it quick, but the first
Right.
2 rounds was something that worked for them. It was kind of a default play wherein they were balanced all throughout the map, slowly walking past mid, Casper catching somebody off guard. But after that, those 2 rounds, they didn't really do it again, and maybe this is one of those rounds wherein they would use the Seekers, but just they just retrieved that orb so that the showstopper for Twirly comes online.
I should hope they use one of these ultimates, because they could be really effective. But at the same time, look at how FSS are reading this situation. 4 players now in B. I think trying to play around an anchor on the right side. It does leave A a little bit open though, but Margot with this wall, we'll be able to buy a bit of time, and now she's just holding the angle. Wall's down, so everyone rotates back around.
I've got your
And
trail.
they're just trying to get a sense where our OGX are. The Seekers will be popped. And here comes the hit towards the A site. Showstopper. There we go. We got slowed. Rocket Fuse left with like half the meter. It does get commit towards the back, but it doesn't really connect
30
onto
seconds
anyone. Full set Sapphire holds the ground. They've managed to read this. They've managed to hold the positions.
Yeah, that's the problem with the slow rotate,
Not
right?
ready yet.
Ginny just reads the situation well. She rotated together with Muffin there, so they had nothing else to do. The stopper is down, and even now Aruma and Japips, they deliver the triple kill, and they get the spike plant down.
Oh my god, with a second remaining. Oh, she saw for the class. Oh my god, she gets the shot anyway. Tried to push back at the elbow when Baby Teasy's just a little bit faster, a little bit more ready. And that takes us to a 4-2. Full sense Sapphire. God damn.
Yeah, there are these small mistakes though for OGX. I think that happened to Twirly also. When it was already a winnable round, they wanted to just swap the guns, right? Instead of reloading, the amount of time of swapping the gun is less, but the risk of getting caught with your pants down is even higher. So that happened twice for OGX, and the position for Japips was so out in the open. That's why Baby TZ was able to, get that double kill.
So our only option was to either like go further back of sight, and that would give Baby TZ a lot of room to work with. So a little bit unfortunate, but here we go. OGX again, fast as ever. This is their double duelist, and this is their style. They're gonna go straight into the heaven. Ginny's trying to hold them. The Cloudburst does give her a bit of room, and well, the spam doesn't quite connect. Emmy might be down to 89, but she's still very much alive, very much kicking. And we're just going to block off mailroom for a second. OGX has to reconsider their options.
Yeah, instead of moving forward towards events though, they recollect and go back towards B lobby, where it's gonna be the duo of Muffin and maybe TZ greeting them, saying hello, and there's a line, but Twirly says do too.
All right, well, we've exchanged greetings. Now we've got to close the door in their faces. Don't come into the house. I don't have any sugar for you here, neighbor. Baby TZ tries to shoot back though, and she does manage to do it. Genie comes in to help, but oh my god! Emmy from the top of heaven, they line up for her. She's down to 5 HP. Can she make this happen? Needs to plant the spike, and this instantly gives her position away. Polly spots it, tries to trap her from behind. She lets a shot out to heaven, but Margot from below drags her down, and it's going to be full send Sapphire moving forward.
I believed for a second that Emmy would clutch that out, even with 5 HP. but Margot was just quick to provide that trade for the team. BBT's
One
here.
enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Spraying them down, but it was Emmy really providing that impact for OGX. It was just unfortunate that two members from Sapphire, both Polly and as well as Margot, have already reached so near that spike that she wasn't able to at least reposition or recover after that first kill.
I just can't believe that. It's such a good attempt from Emmy, but still. Full Send Sapphire now, trying to strike back against them, trying to make sure that they don't get the space before they do. Multiple players pushing down mid instantly, so much control gained, and Orangutan X did not expect this whatsoever.
Yeah, I love the variety of Sapphire's defense here. Sometimes they just keep quiet on towards the site, use the spy cam, and then maybe TZ will peek out when she's tagged one, or you could have this round wherein it's very explosive towards mid with a showstopper.
And I really love, I mean, it's great that we've got player cams, and you can always see the players communicating a lot. Muffin especially sometimes, just letting her team know so much, and see the exchange of information as well. Iruma was trying to make a call towards certain side, or they're trying to guess where Full Send Sapphire could be, but with 4 players who have now retreated, they could be anywhere. Hence, OGX are making such slow moves. They've managed to take B Heaven, but now a quick push in towards the site. They drop down, and Polly could be right around the corner. Margot as well on the site. And then again, just reading the situation, watching the angles, Orangutan X had no escape.
No escape as well with a tripwire there, just there in a Heaven. When it comes to the Cypher setups, it's the camera and the part there and B, and then another one towards a ramp, so that nothing. I mean, with the first round with Emmy, right? They don't want anything like that anymore, so that's why they spread the tripwires across the whole site, the whole map, to be able to gain ground. This time though, they might go for another A rush. Let's see what will happen here, Quack.
Just trying to play around it too, though. I mean, Orangutan X is making use of whatever utility that they have, but or whatever economy they have. But really, right now, it's a lack of space. Apart from the first 2 rounds that they won, they haven't gotten anything, don't it? Full Send Sapphire are now putting up roadblocks every step of the way. Look at this barrier.
It's a big barrier, but Emmy can updraft. But can she get the kill? Can she find out where Polly is here on towards the site?
Polly's hiding. She's waiting. And Emmy tries to clear out back sight by updrafting upwards, such a high elevation, but sadly, nobody's here.
Spike planted.
The entire squad from Full Send Sapphire are just setting up for a retake, because guess what? Ginny has a rolling thunder. Muffin, everyone, Margot, control over Heaven. And here it is, completely pushes them off and in towards Garage. Muffin pings and calls it that they're hiding behind there. It's gonna be a shot through as well, tracking mid-air. Margot, incredible. Last player left alive, and she's only got a frenzy. Unfortunately for Casper, not able to breathe for a second longer. Full Send Sapphire. This is Full Send Sapphire steamrolling them on the defense.
Yeah, and even if they had the Rolling Thunder, they didn't use it at all, because the moment that they stepped foot on the site, I mean, when I looked at the feed, 3 kills go in favor of Full Send Sapphire. I think they just really wanted to opt for that retake, and Margot just, planting her feet down, removing her herself away from that threat was a good decision to make. And once that happens, right, her heals are going to be valuable for that specific round, and even her kills. For that retake. So I guess it was just about their choices. This time though, they choose to do again their strategy for for round number 1. Let's see if it works out this time.
That sounded a little bit slower, but it's still that double duelist core trying to take control over spots of the map. now read by Ginny. Fault line gets sent out. Twirly's able to steady her footing for a second. And then the paint shells blow her up. Ginny's still calling around this, and you can see the team just trying to play around it too. A bit of presence made around Garage though, don't it?
The presence is there, and Polly's just jump peeking, but she's ready with a paranoia too. So if they actually walk out of there, Polly's just gonna get free kills in case, right? It all connects. But she's gonna be the lone defender of the site, and with that, Margot is gonna use her
30
resurrection
seconds left.
to be able to, you know, have that advantage of a 4v3. Sorry, 4v5.
I'm trying to. The reads have been
want to
made
fight it?
though, and well, rotation over to
planted.
the site, but the Cosmic Divide does block them off a little bit. Emmy pushes in, gets a quick
enemy
double, but
remaining.
Polly trades it off as well. Muffin now dropping up from heaven, just descends upon them. Everything that OGX tries to throw at FSS gets countered.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think what FSS is trying to do here is save everything for the retake, slow everything. Let's just drop down on them like a huge waterfall, and then OGX gets drowned with all of the utility and the firepower of Full Send Sapphire. That's what's been happening for the past 8 rounds, actually, that they've won. After the 2 pistol rounds, sorry, the pistol round and, of course, the force buy of OGX, they have no way to try and counter that type of waterfall from Full Send Sapphire.
It's such a good and effective protocol for retaking or even just fending them off at the right times. I mean, this is too darn good, Donut, and I don't know. Coach Gunnar has already spent the time out, and it's overwhelming odds right now for OGX, but they need this if we are go to a map 3.
This round, they do have a judge early, but Muffin there
Spike
just
down.
dodges that
B.
guiding light. Quick response with the paint shells. Baby TZ for the rescue, but traded out by the showstopper of Twirly.
Only for a second, not before Polly comes from behind. OGX's teammates making their way through mid. They need the spot. Oh god, this dark cover!
They're already
player
dead.
well-
One's down, but Emmy. So 2 more. Try and
No.
cover the spike, but no, Polly is so ready for that kill in 9 straight
Last
rounds.
round before the
For
switch.
Full Send Sapphire, OGX had the spike out in the open. It was so far to retrieve. Emmy and Naruma, they try their best to recover it, but that's not going to be enough. There were still 4 players for Sapphire remaining.
Oh, sweet Lord, have mercy.
Last player
I mean, it's a
standing.
good attempt. Look at how Emmy actually peeks out, finds one pick. A very well-placed headshot onto its Muffin's head, but the teamwork and having that many players around just to respond from FSS, it's too darn good. Last round before the swap, Donut, and here they go. Emmy just tries to push it. Oh, a bit of an outjump, and she catches Baby TZ, but gets blown up by Muffin, and our showstopper even pulls out the Vandal on towards Aruma. 3 players left. Twirly on a judge. And they're trying, Donut. They're trying.
They're trying their best, but with a judge of Twirly, I don't think they can do enough here. I think an opening kill for them could, you know, make all of the difference. Japeeps missed Ginny's body. She will use the guiding light to try and clear on the left, and that compromises Muffin too. Although Margot and Muffin all
my.
take the kills, and Muffin finishing strong with a 4K there, Quack.
That is
Switching
unbelievable.
sides.
Margot's timings on those slow orbs are always good.
And I think there's really a lot to say here. Full Send Sapphire, 10 points to OGX's first 2 rounds. I think the panel has a lot of thoughts about this, so Mika and Dax, let us know what you think about the second half.
I just think that Full Send Sapphire are just 100% prepared. I mean, like the casters mentioned, every single thing that Orangutan X throw at Full Send Sapphire, they somehow have a counter to it. You know, whether it's a Cosmic Divide, whether it's whatever you have, you know, they always have a plan. They're always together. They always know how to execute, and it just is really really frustrating for the side of Orangutan X because like what more can they do?
They can see it already here for Orangutan X. They're getting there towards the site. They're getting the entries that they need. But the real crux of the problem here is when they face off against Full Send Sapphire, they are contained. Some of the most incredible trades we have seen from Full Send Sapphire, not just in the shot quality itself, but the speed of where they do it. Once we get Orangutan X towards the side, it means Full Sense is already cascading towards them. And I feel like one of the big swing rounds here, or a pair of swing rounds that happened on that first half, were the back-to-back clutch moments between Baby TZ as well as Margot. It's Orangutan X finding the kills. We're seeing here from Emmy some incredible jet play. But the problem is, you're running that double duelist and you're still not getting as much of the map that you want. You're getting stalled, you're getting stopped, and Full Sense, as soon as they do that, they just make it as claustrophobic as possible to remove the options from from Orangutan X rather.
And like the caster mentioned it as well, Margot is just like suddenly Sage is a controller, you know? It's like she has so much command of that mid to be heavens area. It's like, you know, she is definitely one of the heaviest obstacles that all X have to go through, and then there's the rest of Full Send Sapphire. I'm not really sure how they can come back from this, but we'll see how the rest of this map plays out. Over to you, casters.
I mean, our panelists are absolutely right, and so much of it feels claustrophobic at times. We have to see how the rest of this plays out, but from a 10-2, if OGX can't pick up this pistol, I'm worried, Donut. I'm so worried.
Yeah, apart from, you know, being claustrophobic, it's as if OGX also is boxed in when it comes to the ideas during the first half. But this time, I think they have a lot of wiggle room as they are on the defense. Full Send Sapphire, I think they might want to reconsider this with all the traps. But nope, there's no kills through that smoke.
Wall raised.
Oh my god, no kills, and they actually have full control already. Oh, Donut. Look at this, they're pushing into screens. Baby DZ's just holding outside of ramp. She's got support from her teammate too. Emmy, still aggressive as the duelist, and she's trying to break this up. Pushes in, she gets one, and then a trade response from Margot. Japips coming back in from top of ramps as well, and Casper coming out of defender spawn. Torley coming in as well. The entire team chiming in to keep the OGX dream alive.
Yeah, and Casper waited the perfect moment. She knew that there might be people there already because they took so much space. But when everything else was chaotic on towards the site, that's when she peeked out. That's why when everything else was in distress, there in Blue Heaven,
One enemy
took
remaining.
her time and got the kills. I guess that's also what's wonderful about OGX here. The team play, probably what we didn't see that as much during their attack rounds, only because Full Send Sapphire was able to box them in. Now that they're on the defense, maybe they can do the same as what Sapphire did to them.
Just hoping if it's gonna be possible. Again, well, we've got the buys this time, and Full Send Sapphire back in with an explosive take onto the site. Aruma got completely surrounded,
Spike
and
planted.
is a weapon possibly picked up for Full Send Sapphire or not, but it's gonna be down to how this retake comes in, and OGX needs to make it happen. They approach in from ramps and trying to get the flick shot, fully whiffs. Emmy with a Bucky lands onto Ginny. Two players remaining, and they've got some guns to play with, but not before long. Muffin tries to hold it with her own, the Spectre that she picked up, but ooh! Another sidestep shot from Japips, and she's been sharp today. Let's see if this gets sharper.
Why did I sign up for this shit?
Yeah, at least they were able to, you know, pick up that Phantom. I guess that's something that could counter the full buy of Full Send Sapphire for the next round. I think one round at a time, right? Orangutan X, they showed us how it should be played, how a team plays.
Cage triggered.
I guess it has to be the utility, right, Donut? It's so. I mean, thinking about how
Recovering.
FSS plays with this, with their full buys, they've got the light shields like Mika's favorite team, Summon FC, but still, they stream their way onto the site without much of care in the world, using the barrier orb from Margot, trying to stick the plant now, and they're.
Spike planted.
Oh my goodness, since when did she get up? Everyone from OGX are around the site and they're trying to hold this off, but Baby TZ lurking up. Emmy is very much aware though. Uses the Cloudburst to try to force the issue, and Baby TZ is forced to peek out as well.
Enemy remaining.
Meanwhile on the site, it's just absolute terror and destruction. Full Sense Sapphire. You talked about it, Donut. They just did not have the firepower to hold this.
Yeah, and against Full Sense Sapphire and how they're playing, they're actually like on fire right now with all of the kills. And Ginny, while again we were identifying her as really the shot caller of the team, she isn't really performing in terms of the kills, but the amount of effort that she brings in terms of the insight that she provides within the map itself, especially for Split, has been amazing. And her assists at the moment are 12. We've seen members of OGX, right, being stunned, being so dazed, and Marco's slow orbs, just containing everything else. And I guess that's also because of the leadership of Ginny. This time, though, Orangutan X, now that they have the full buys, which they missed out on the previous round, you have to really, talk about how to contain this power of Sapphire.
And the
And at the
way
moment, I guess it's also about the utility you mentioned, right? It could get some kills. It could be Twirly's paint shells. If she
Yeah.
throws it with the same timing as Margot throws her slow orbs, then it could be deadly.
That's what I'm thinking about, because we've seen the way that Full Sense Sapphire kind of makes their way around sites. It's not the most explosive. It's not like a crazy set play, but they love to bait around rotations. Like Mika said on the desk, they're so clearly prepared for this. They've got plays. They've got anti-strats to adapt and work against OGX. OGX needs to find something like that of their own, and hopefully that timeout is one where they could have cooked this up at the same time. Mid and contest right now, and a deep nebula allows for FSS to look at this, rotate all the way through, and while we're talking about it, Baby TZ's already on the site.
Yeah, she's just waiting for the timing to destroy this tripwire while Aruma is actually watching Heaven. And she doesn't know that Baby TZ's already close and she
man.
catches her.
Yeah, that crosshair placement told you everything. She was looking out for outside of ramp, did not expect Baby TZ to be right underneath her nose. 4v5. OGX trying to retake. We've got the Seekers from Japips, and that does inform quite a bit. Ginny trying to block out that space with her Aftershock. A bit of a Nova Pulse and Gravity Well 2 from Casper, and just enough of a strain from Twirly, but Ginny answers back. Trades coming back in again, and now we've got screens. Paulie, though, coming back up towards the top of Heaven. Oh my god, just one tap from Marco. Thankfully, Amy's here, but they're running out of time, Donut. Muffin underneath this one cubby hole, and she's able to put a bit of a bullet through the skull. Casper fires back, but now it's match point.
That's an unfortunate way to reach match point, at least for OGX. They did try their best. Aruma was the first one to be brought down, but after that, right, that whole fight towards Swan, as they were trying to retake, brought down Ginny, but it all was about the amount of time that was bought. Imagine that aftershock first, and then the blind comes in, another blind comes in. It was just all about the time, and FSS, they bought everything that they needed. But look at this push there.
Wow.
OGX, and Truly gets the first one.
Uses the paint shells to keep them at bay too. Emmy's trying to peek out again, and she does spot a player. Might have tagged out Ginny just a bit. Margot's gonna spend the heal. His back's against the wall, and OGX are trying to do whatever they can. And Margot has a res, unfortunately. Baby TZ again. She just sneaked up from A. This could be over. We might have to say goodbye or goodnight to that dream of an OGX SMG rerun in the grand final.
I was so surprised about that too, because there's a tripwire there placed by Aruma. Did she jump over that? And Baby TZ, she's gonna find another timing behind the back. A knife to the back, and even another kill.
Enemy
It
remaining.
is gonna be dreams shattered by Baby TZ, but I'm not too sure. And she does. She recovers from that spray. She gets the win for Full Sense Sapphire. Dreams have been dampened for Orangutan X, but Full Sense Sapphire, they're going to the grand finals to face against the Queens, which is Team SMG.
Such a turnaround performance compared to how they played in Open 1. Full set Sapphire, full steam ahead, and yeah, Baby TZ's one heck of a ninja. It's so good, but it's a little bit unfortunate for OGX, don't you think?
It was. I think a lot of those rounds were very unfortunate. They couldn't find the timing. The utilities weren't as right and as clear as they wanted it to be when they had it planned out. I think they're Full Sense Sapphire, they're the breaker of plans and the breaker of strategies of OGX. Because we saw that earlier in Haven. OGX, they already had a plan. They were just slowly creeping in. But I think that's not necessarily what happened because of the breaker of plans, which is FSS.
Yeah, and you know what? Our panelists are also breakers because they're gonna break this strat down for us. How exactly did Full Sense 2-0 against Orangutan X? Mika and Dex, take it away.
Yeah, I'm just gonna pat Quack on the back. There.
What did he call us?
Try. He called us the breakers as well because
We're break.
I don't know.
I humor at once,
yes.
and he does this.
How's Full Sense breaker of plans? That's where we end that conversation, okay? No, Quack. You ruined it. You ruined it.
Well,
But it is not ruined, of course, for Full Sense Sapphire because they are going to the grand finals up against Team SMG here. Orangutan X, though, it was well fought. It's just that Full Sense Sapphire were just prepared on every single angle, every single player, every single map as well.
yeah, you know how to make a proper analogy to that. House Sapphire will now contend for the Game of Thrones here. They're the only ones left now who are standing versus Team SMG. And with the commanding victory, Mika, we saw there on Split, it really is just par for the course. I mentioned it at the very start of this series. Full Sense Sapphire, they took the hardest route to get this fire in the first place. Only the top contenders that you expect were the ones that they faced off. Yes, there were some upstarts that did make some surprises along the way. Some impressions made by some of the underdog teams. But in the end, Full Sense Sapphire persevered. They're the only ones who've taken a map against Team SMG. And they have a chance yet again to face off against them. But you can already see here the stats, Mika. Baby TZ, it is just way too easy when she's in there. Always in prime position to make things happen. And let's not forget Muffin too. Just multi-kill after multi-kill helps out Full Sense, make that space happen. I was a bit concerned at the very start because of the pistol win from Orangutan, but you gave Full Sense the guns and they were back to their set plans.
I mean, it looked like it was just rounds that wherein, Full Sense were just like, it's okay, we're just downloading information. It's okay. Show us how you play. And then we're gonna take the rest of the rounds, right? Especially since, all of the layers that Full Sense Sapphire has, right? You have Ginny and you have Muffin. Just on the entry. You'll have Folly somewhere around, and you'll have Margot as well, holding down a site by herself. And then you have Baby Teasy coming out from God knows where, right? For some reason nobody sees her, and no traps. Like she doesn't trigger any traps. Like how on earth that last round? Like wasn't there a trap right there or something?
It's like, it's me, Baby Teasy, and it is her as our MVP. So precise, so sublime, really, in making the best angles of opportunity for Full Sense Sapphire. And as of right now, this is the team that we've seen dominate in the Game Changer scene before. The team that took that spot from the APAC region to play on the international stage. And truth be told, it's such a return to glory for them. They were the team that was upset last Open 1. They were the team that finished 56th place against the expectations for them to make it at least to the top 3. And now they're here back and forth with a new sponsor as well. And it just seems like they've really taken to heart the lessons they learned earlier this year. And now they look better than ever as a unit.
They want it. They're for that championship, and they know it. They had, of course, a taste of it already, and they actually had a whole platter of it last year. And now they're saying, we want more of that. We already had a good start last year. We're here for the finish line. So they are setting their sights not just on the APAC scene, but they're looking to make their mark in the international scene as well. And I think that it definitely shows, right? They might have got into the lower bracket run, but I think that just made them it just gave them even more ammo. It gave them even more fuel actually to go up against Team SMG. Team SMG looking pretty untouchable right now, but with what we're seeing from Full Sense Sapphire, with all this layering that's happening from the side of Full Sense, I think Team SMG, they're not going to be able to do those, 4 Sentinels anymore. They're not going to be able to do those 5 controllers, 5 initiators, or whatever. They have to bring, all seriousness when they get into the game tomorrow.
Yeah, you're not wrong, Mika, because that was the only matchup we saw from SMG actually be proper compositions from them. And was the only matchup where someone took a map away from Team SMG. This is an actual finals matchup to watch out for tomorrow. Full Sense has earned the respect that they demanded. Team SMG happy to oblige, and honestly, they were just woken up by the performance here of Full Sense Sapphire. SMG will be keeping tabs on what Sapphire has done today, because they already know that this team is ready for action.
Oh yes, and here it is. Ladies and gentlemen, your grand finalists, Team SMG and Full Sense Sapphire. That will be tomorrow, and by then we will know who is the champion of Open 2. And I gotta say, we definitely pegged Team SMG as a top team here in Open 2. Full Sense Sapphire also, though, we had a lot of expectations for them, and they are definitely living up to it. Especially since, again, this is, we are midway into our circuit right now. After this, it's Open 3, and by then it will be LCQ. These two teams are definitely the front runners, and they're full steam ahead for this Game Changers APAC circuit.
Yeah, this is the most expected grand finals everyone has had on their cards because of Full Sense and their international performance. Team SMG and just their re-roster, their firepower, and their form. Which will win though? The experience or truly the potential? We'll find out tomorrow. It's such a big series to watch out for.
I know. I'm so excited for all of these matchups, right? Because we definitely saw Muffin, and we definitely saw Baby TZ being challenged, of course. But I am so excited to see them up against Team SMG and all the firepower that they've brought here onto Open 2. Just a reminder that, of course, Team SMG has not dropped a series just yet. I'm not sure when the last time
I saw you modify the sentence because you're about to say map.
A series just yet, because they have dropped a map, and most interestingly enough, it was against Full Sense Sapphire. So Full Sense Sapphire is the team that shows them that yes, they can bleed. Just how much, we will find out tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I do wonder though, what preparations will we get here for Full Send Sapphire? They already know that they can beat Team SMG on a map like Haven, and we've seen the coordination be absolutely important for Sapphire to make things work, but everyone needs to step up immensely like they did today. It needs to be peak form from Baby TZ. It needs to be peak form as well from Muffin especially, and right now, because SMG has so many gunners, I think one thing that SMG needs to look into from the previous matchup was, as we're trying to preview what is there to come, how will Ineri perform against Full Send
Muffin,
Sapphire,
yeah.
right? She
Yeah.
struggled against them yesterday, and let's not forget, she was part of that team that didn't make it to the international stage. So maybe there's still a chip on her shoulder, maybe there's something in the water there for Full Send Sapphire, especially versus her. And I can't wait to see what's the plan from Team SMG. Now they know who their true opponent is.
Oh my gosh, I can imagine it. It's like, you know, on the side, you left me here. Now I've come back with a vengeance. And vengeance it is. You know, we have these grand finalists, Team SMG and Full Send Sapphire tomorrow. But that's it for us today. This has been Mika Fabs and Dax. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for the grand finals of VCT Game Changers. APAC Open soon.
One enemy remaining.
Enemy down.
Stay down.
I know exactly where.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A. One enemy remaining. Last player standing. One enemy remaining.
You're trying.
One enemy remaining.
Neutralized.
One enemy remaining.
Die.
Thug.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Clutch. One. Last player standing. Spike down. C. One enemy remaining.
Got you.
Seconds left.
Trinity, you're welcome.
One enemy
Right there.
remaining.
Amateur.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Delete it. Ready. Enemy down. One down.
Did I? One enemy remaining.
Better than yours. Okay. Foolish.
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Eagle. Can only be one.
Level low.
Level low.